Hi everyone, welcome to the Wide Shut webcast. Today I want to bring up this alleged Muslim extremist preacher called Anjem Choudary. And for those that haven't watched two, I think, of my most important videos, the first entitled Islam for UK Exposed as British Intelligence Front, and the second is called Does Britain Sponsor Muslim Extremists? If you haven't watched those, please check them out because I think they're the most important videos that I've done so far. Now, the first video basically lays out my opinion. It was more of an opinionated video that Islam for UK, which is headed up by Anjem Choudary, is a British intelligence operation. But the second video, which got far less views, which I need more people to check out really, is the one that lays out all the evidence and all the reasoning behind it, rather than the philosophical kind of way I presented it to begin with. But you've got to check out both of these videos because the evidence I present pretty much makes it safe to say that Anjem Choudary is working for British intelligence. And I say that because I think he's being used specifically to drum up controversy when they need it. Now, let me give you an example. Around about the time of the Iraq war inquiry, you know, when a lot of the country were rightfully questioning why our boys were out in Iraq fighting, this guy's face was plastered all over the newspapers and he was on all of the news channels because he said he was going to march on this small town called Wootton Bassett, which is where the military march the dead bodies through and they have a procession. Okay, so that caused all sorts of controversy and sort of drummed up patriotism for the wars and for the troops. So this then obviously leads to tension and that old phrase the public love to parrot, which is support our troops. Yeah, how about you support them and bring them home? But nonetheless, it kind of put the military back into the forefront and got out that idea that they're heroes and that they're fighting for our freedom and all that good stuff. So that's one example of why I think you can see how the media and the establishment manipulate this guy when they need him to be manipulated, when they need to get this idea of Muslim extremism out there. Now, an important point to make is he never actually did the march. Why? Because it's a psyop. There was nobody there to march with him. He barely has any followers. I did some research on his website and got some statistics together, and barely anyone even goes on the Islam for UK website. It's almost a complete fabrication. Now, I've been through the ins and outs of this group. I just wanted to add a little bit of extra information. I was going through the immediate news coverage after 9/11. You know, there's lots of video packages people have put together of all the different news reports following 9/11, during 9/11, weeks after 9/11. You can get the whole chronological series of videos on a website called archive.org, which has all sorts of different archive footage. But I was going through that to see if there's anything anybody missed, because I know there's a great body of work of research that pretty much proves the official story of 9/11 is a complete farce. Okay, it did not happen how they said it happened. But I wanted to go through and see if there's anything else I could add. But lo and behold, who popped up in one of the immediate BBC videos after 9/11 as a BBC expert on Muslim extremism or whatever, but Anjem Choudary. He's always been working for the establishment. He's extreme when they need him to be extreme, and he's reserved and quite intelligent when they need him to be reserved and quite intelligent. But he's linked to the Al-Mujaharoon group. He openly says that he's the British chapter of Al-Mujaharoon, which was set up in the 90s as a recruitment centre to send British Muslims off to fight in Kosovo. Just like Bin Laden and his ragtag of idiots were trained by America to fight off the Soviets in Afghanistan. You see, they've always used the Muslims and these charismatic leaders to manipulate them into doing different things for the West. So just check out this video of Anjem Choudary on BBC immediately after 9/11, cementing the story that it's the Muslims and that they have reason to hate America. Just think, why would they have him on there? And why does he suddenly become extreme, you know, a few years later, and then he goes back to being reserved? Then, you know, they just use him when they need him.
It's not going to change anything. Thousands of people will have died for nothing.
I think that whoever was behind the actions which took place today are not really the focus point for us. I think what we need to do is we need to look to why people are targeting American interests. Why have people taken the stance that we need to attack the Pentagon, we need to attack the political and the economic and the strategic locations, and really inflict damage upon the American government? And I think it's got something to do with the fact that America continues to have their forces in the Middle East. America continues to back tyrant regimes, and I think that this should be a lesson not only for the American regime but also to the Muslims worldwide, to say that we need to have a different type of relationship, a relationship based on debate and discussion.
Jonathan Clark in Washington, is America going to learn the sort of lesson Mr. Choudary wants it to?
I think he's rather exaggerating the present relations between the United States and the Arab.
So there he is, the MI6 actor, planting the seed along with the US news coverage that was already blaming the CIA actor Osama bin Laden. And then a few years later, on 7/7, they put the same guy back on TV, but this time he's really controversial and extreme and saying the British people deserved it.
I just wonder why you won't condemn it when your own leader, Omar Bakri, said quite simply, I condemn the killing of innocent people on the 20th of July.
Yeah,
why won't you say what he said?
No, at the end of the day, innocent people, when we say innocent people, we mean Muslims. As far as non-Muslims are concerned, they have not accepted Islam. As far as we're concerned, that is a crime against God.
I want to be clear about what you're saying. This is very important. You're saying only Muslims can count as innocent people.
As far as Muslims are concerned, you're innocent if you are a Muslim, then you're innocent in the eyes of God. If you're a non-Muslim, then you're guilty of not believing in God. Yes, there were many victims.
You're guilty. Are you seriously suggesting?
It's just a persona. He's an actor. They make him extreme when they need him to be extreme, and they make him sound intelligent when they need him to. You can see the development of his character as they put more of their plan into action. Now, like some of the idiots on the other videos, some people decide to call me a Muslim. Now, just to show that I'm not a Muslim, other than probably being British and, you know, living in Lincolnshire, look in this bin right here, full of Carling lager cans. Okay? Kind of like how Anjem Choudary used to be before he was picked as an MI6 intelligence asset. Look at this. You see, he couldn't be a Muslim if he tried. He's just an actor. It goes a little something like this. The CIA, MI6 and Israeli Mossad intelligence services carry out the attacks, and that's what all the evidence now points to. And then they fund various Muslim front groups and organisations to carry out terrorist attacks in the Middle East, like Jundullah, which has been exposed by many people, including Webster Tarpley. And then they get their Muslim actors like Adam Gaddan and this idiot Anjem Choudary to build up tension and to create hype and to build up the threat of terrorism that isn't really there. Meanwhile, the New World Order takes over in the Middle East and lots of our young men die. So I'm going to leave you with a very simple message. The only way Islam becomes a threat in Britain is if they want it to be a threat. After all, it's the establishment that open up the borders and it's the establishment media that give coverage to idiots like Anjem Choudary.